Welcome to the channel. This video is about the home care workers pilot. Now, I know there is a lot of things happening in the background in the sense of with the CRS calculator and the LMIA points being removed. But today, right now, in this episode, in this video, we're talking only about the most recent uh, application details that have been announced for the home care worker pilot. For everything else, please join into our live stream tomorrow morning where we will have much more detailed discussion about what all happened today. Home care pilot worker program is supposed to be, is expected to be launched on the 31st of March 2025. It will be launched at 10 a.m. Eastern time. And if you are eligible, if you are ready for this program, then you must have all your documentation ready, have everything prepared, have everything ready to go, and you will be able to submit your application. Now, because of the nature of this application and because of our past experience that we have seen in the, it usually used to open on the 1st of January. For whatever the reason, they chose 1st of January and at 9 a.m. usually, and it would get snapped like this, especially the child caregiver stream of this particular program. When it opens on 31st of March, I can assure you that child caregiver and the home caregiver, both the streams that are there within the home care worker pilot, they both should get snapped up pretty quickly. Maybe one of the streams might take longer, but this time it will be much more easier for the people to apply for different reasons. And another thing very different about this program is that this is going to be approval as a permanent resident as the application is approved. So what I'm trying to say is, earlier, the way the child caregiver program or the home caregiver program was that first you used to get a work permit to come and work in Canada. Once you would have gained the required amount of work experience, first it was 1 year, then it was reduced to 6 months, then you could continue with your application for PR. Once the PR application was done, then you would basically be approved and you become a PR. In this program, the more enhanced version of this program now is that once you're approved, you are approved as a permanent resident directly. So there is no working, there is no work permit, nothing doing. The day you get approved, you are a permanent resident. That's the biggest feature of this new enhanced permanent home care worker pilot. So let's get started. There is a lot of information, lot of details. My only recommendation to you is, if you have a pen and paper, start taking notes. If not, obviously save the video, share it with your other friends and relatives and whoever you think and you know is also going to be applying, because this is going to be very, very crucial. If you do not have all the documents ready, you will not be able to apply. Or even if you do try to apply, of course, it's going to get returned back. It's going to get refused. This gives me the same feeling of like TR to PR program, which was launched in 2021. Same thing happened. The portal will open and then again, it'll be fastest fingers first. Whoever can submit the application first will be able to go. Okay, without further ado, let's get started with what is included in this particular program. So home care pilot worker program. This basically, let me make this screen a bit bigger. Can't make it bigger. Let's see if we can fill up the screen here. Okay. I can get my face out of the way and put it on the side. This will be much better. And we can go with this, I think. Sorry about that. Just getting this few things done. All right. So the link for this particular stream, for this particular page, I will put it in the description. I forgot to put it in the description earlier. But if you just Google home care pilot, you should be able to come to this stream, to come to this page. You basically have two options here: learn what you need to do, or basically start your application. I would recommend straight away jump on start the application, start your application. It will take you to various steps on what you need to do. First things first, it opens on 31st of March at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it basically has two streams, right? First stream is workers who are in Canada. Second stream is applicants who are not working in Canada. So applicants who are not working in Canada, for them, this stream is closed. So no point in talking about them. This discussion is only about workers in Canada stream. The fee for this application is $1,525. You should obviously be ready to pay this fees when you submit your application. So at this point of time, this is going to be for people who are currently in Canada, workers in Canada. And there are two pilots. First one is home caregiver pilot, which is child care. And the second one is home support. you really need to know which stream you're going to be applying in. If you are eligible under the home support, where basically you are giving care to the elderly, to the disabled, to the people who are sick, then do not make the mistake of applying under the child care. Your application will get refused. Similarly, if you're a child caregiver, do not apply under the home support. Your application will get refused. So these are the small things that you have to be very, very careful about. IRCC has no mercy in these matters. Okay. Of course, as we just spoke, we have two streams, workers in Canada, applicants not working in Canada. As of right now, they will be accepting applications only of workers in Canada. Who can apply? Let's click on this and see what we have here. Very, very interesting in a lot of ways as to who they have chosen to include and who they have chosen to not include. First one is who can apply. Let's scroll down. Okay. To be eligible for workers in Canada, you must be already living in Canada. That is the biggest requirement. You should be inside Canada. You can be, and they're saying you can be physically outside of Canada, but you will need to show that you normally reside in Canada. So for example, let's say you normally live in Canada, but now you have a vacation planned that you planned long back, or you are going to go to your home country just to visit your home country for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month. And this 31st of March is coming right between that period of time. That's fine. You will still be able to submit your application as long as you can prove to IRCC that you are just on a short leave, you actually have a work permit, you have an ongoing job or whatever that might be, and that you actually currently live in Canada, your primary residence is in Canada, okay? Second, and very, very important, is that you should be authorized to work in Canada full-time in any occupation. This is the most important factor. If you are on a study permit, you will not be able to apply. If you are a visitor in Canada, you will not be able to apply. Yes, there are a few conditions. I will talk to you about that in a bit. But the most important is that you should be living in Canada, or Canada should be your primary residence, and you should be authorized to work in Canada full-time in any occupation, which basically means you should have a valid work permit, or you should be on a maintained status. Maintained status means those people who have chosen to extend their work permits and now they're in between that period of time when their work permit is expired, but they're on implied status, on maintained status, so you will still be able to apply. Now, who doesn't count as eligible work authorization? Anybody who is a business visitor, so who's come to Canada on a business and they're here for some meetings, they don't count, they will not be able to apply. And you are under the conditions of study permit. So if you are not authorized to work through one of these options, you're not eligible. So if you are in Canada on your study permit, you will not be able to apply for the stream. If you are currently living in Canada but no longer have authorization, then there might still be some options. Even if you are out of status, even if you are living in Canada but you have lost your status, at some point of time in your background, if you had a work permit, then you might still be eligible. So there are some other conditions applicable to people who are out of status. If you are one of those individuals, then you can obviously go back to this link and take a look at and see if you are at all eligible for this particular option. Then this is for applicants not working in Canada, proof of funds. So I'm not going to go into proof of funds. That doesn't apply. If you are working in Canada, if you have a work permit in Canada, of course, that's when you're eligible to apply. You don't need any proof of funds. So don't worry about the proof of funds. Then the next one is language requirements. The language requirements are pretty simple. You already know that by now, that the minimum requirement is level 4, CLB level 4, reading, writing, speaking, listening in English. So for that, you should already have received your English language test results. Without that, you will not be able to apply. You must have equivalent for your education. You must have an equivalent of Canadian high school diploma. By now, you should already have gotten your WES or ECA from any of the agencies which are recognized. If you have them, only then you will be able to apply. If you don't have it, it's still in the process. Get it done as soon as possible. If you don't have it ready, you will not be able to make your application. You will not be able to submit your application. Now, most importantly, what most of you are waiting for, and that is work experience or training. So as per the requirement in this program, either you should have 6 months of recent relevant work experience, and they have finally given us the clarification, or you should have a credential or a training which is for at least 6 months, which is related to the work you will be doing. So the two options here are HCWIP. I do not know why they come up with all these different acronyms, but this one is, I don't even know the full form of this, Home Care Worker IP. I don't know what IP stands here for. I'll probably figure that out, but For the home child care providers, your knock code should be 44100, or for early childhood educators and assistants 42202. Now, check out the details, as some jobs under this knock code are not eligible. Who is not eligible? If you are applying under the child care stream, you have to be a child care giver, a child care provider, okay, under knock code 44100. Now, if you are under early childhood educator and assistants, knock code 42202, experience as early childhood educator and daycare teacher or supervisor doesn't count. What does that mean? Only early childhood educator assistants, only they are eligible. If you're working in a daycare, you're not eligible. If you're working as an early childhood educator, you're not eligible. I know it sucks, it's really sad, it's really bad, but that's how they have chosen to go. They've chosen to give more advantage, more weight on this particular stream to the early childhood educator assistants. Okay, so if you're an ECE, early childhood educator, unfortunately you will not be eligible. Similarly, for the home support workers, people who are going to be giving care to the elderly, to the people who need the care, knock code 44101, home support workers, caregivers, and related occupations. Nurse aide, orderlies, and patient service associates, knock 33102, are also eligible, provided that work experience is gained in an institutional setting. For example, long-term care may be eligible. Okay, so if you've been working in an institutional setting, then even if you are 33102, then your work experience is acceptable and you would be eligible. You have to be eligible in one of the knock codes, right, that they have been listed above: 44101, 44100, or 4202 or 33102. You can have mix of occupations, but within the same pilot. So, which means that you may be having work experience between 44101 and 33102, but you cannot have work experience between 44101 and 44100. You cannot have cross work experience. And the work experience requirements, as I said, is for 6 months within the last 3 years. And this work experience could be inside Canada, could be outside Canada. It doesn't matter, as long as you have that work experience. So this is the most important factor. What else is there? You should match the job description and include most of the duties that is listed under the knock code. So take a look at the knock code. You make sure when you get your employment documents, employment letters ready, that they're matching with the knock codes. Most of the duties should match. Just don't look at 20%, 30%, 40%. Try to match 80, 90, 100% if it's possible. The work experience should have been gained since you are 18 years or older. It should have gained within the last 3 years before you apply. To gain after applying. So for example, you say, hey, you know what, I have 1 year of experience. Sorry, my bad. You can say, I have 3 months of experience. I've started working in January. From January to March 31st is 3 months. I will continue working, and IRCC can count that work experience also. That is not going to happen. On 31st of March, you should have already completed at least 6 months of work experience within the last 3 years. Okay, and that is what they are saying. You must have completed all the work experience before applying, or your application will be refused. And the work experience has to be continuous, means the last 6 months that you're working, or any 6 months that you're working, the work experience cannot be with any breaks. You could not have taken any maternity leaves, any sick leaves. Even if you have changed employers, that is acceptable, but there can be no gaps between that period of work. So 6 months continuous work experience is required. It has to be full-time, meaning 30 hours of paid work per week. That's very, very important. The work experience should be paid work per week. I know a lot of people have been thinking of different things, but it has to be paid work per week. And if you work multiple part-time jobs, it only counts if it adds up to at least 30 hours per week for 6 months in a row. Okay. And another one is that you are authorized. Oh, what happened? Okay, something went wrong. Hold on. Give me a moment. Let me come back. My screen suddenly went kaput. Okay, we are back here. So you have to be authorized while you had the residency status, while you had the temporary residency status, means it couldn't have been that you gained the work experience while you are not authorized to work. Okay. And there are certain conditions for different people who are out of status, but that's something completely different. So you should have had a valid work permit, and that is what is most important. Or you should have had a maintained status, or you should have been under a public policy. If your work experience was unauthorized, you might still be eligible, but there are certain conditions, and there's a very, very small quota. Only 140 people can apply under that specific stream. So which work experience will not be acceptable, not be counted? Work experience gained as a full-time student. So if you were working, if you were in Canada studying and you thought you could count that as work experience, unfortunately, that will not count. Work experience gained while you were self-employed, so you were running your own business, you were freelancing, you were providing services, will not be counted. Periods of unemployment will not be counted. Long-term sickness or parental leave will not be counted. Now, this is if you have 6 months of work experience. Now you could have or means if you have training, you must have received a credential for a relevant training of at least 6 months within or outside Canada. And this training has to be within the last 2 years. So it's not like 10 years back, you did some training program, you did some course, and that would be acceptable. Unfortunately not. That training program has to be within the last 2 years. The training must be targeted towards the NOC that you're looking at, either the childcare or the home support worker, right? So your training has to be directly targeting these particular NOC codes. So for example, if you've done PSW, then the PSW course will count. That would be counted towards the home caregiver program here, this one, home support workers, right? So your PSW will count here. If you have been working as a nursing aide, that would also count in terms of the NOC code for 33102. Now, what else is there? It has to be completed within 2 years. Means your training that you have completed, which has to be for at least 6 months in duration, should be within last 2 years. It couldn't have been online training. It has to have been offered mainly as an in-person classroom training. So you could not have taken a online course, digital, virtual course, virtual training, distance learning. Unfortunately, none of those will work. And it basically means it was at the post-secondary level. It should have been full-time, meaning at least 13 hours of training per week should have been completed in this period of study. And yeah, while you were 17 years or older, that's when you should have started the program. And it should have been completed 2 years before you make the application. These are very, very important factors. Please be careful before you apply. Don't apply for the heck of it. Your money will be lost anyways. The application will be refused and you'll get, just hold waiting. This is not the stream that you have to take a chance with, right? Because it's just going to be a waste of time and effort. Anyways, so what does not count as training? Training that was targeted towards occupations other than those listed. For example, training in the medical field. So if you're training in the medical field, that will not be counted. Okay. If you were specifically training for that occupation that has been listed over here, these 4 NOC codes, only these 4 NOC codes, specific training targeting these NOC codes would be included. The training that was done mainly online will not be included. On-job training will not be accepted. Now, this is as far as your work experience is concerned. This is extremely important. If you do not have this, unfortunately, you will not be eligible. Next one is getting the job offer, right? That is, again, the most important requirement. How will you get a job offer? So you can basically get job offers from either a private home or a private household or from a business institution. Let's take a look at what will be required for that. You must be likely to accept the job offer and be able to perform the duties. We will review the things like your past training. So basically it says that you should have already got the background, you should have already been ready to submit, you should have already be ready to accept the job offer once it's made. The job offer has to be for the NOC code either 44100. The location can't be an institutional setting such as daycare. This is for the home child care providers. If you have a job offer from a daycare, the job offer from daycare does not count. For this program, I mean, the title by itself is very, very clear and evident. It is for home care workers. Means your services have to be provided in somebody's home. So therefore, retirement homes are not included. Long-term residential homes are not included. This has to be in the patient's private home, and only if you are providing services there. that job offer will count. So therefore, for home childcare providers, the location cannot be an institutional setting such as daycare. The job as a foster parent also doesn't count. And home care worker immigration pilot, in the sense of home support work, it has to be caregivers and related occupation. Location cannot be institutional settings such as a nursing home. Those will not be accepted. And although the work experience and training of knock codes may be eligible, they will not accept job offer for early childhood educator and assistants, okay, and nurse aides, orderlies, and patient services. So these knock code, the job for these two knock codes, if you're going to get the job offer, they will not accept it. So you have to be very careful when you get the job. What does the job offer spell out? What kind of job roles and responsibilities it will be saying? As long as it is assistance, you might still be able to. The work experience of an early childhood educator assistant is acceptable. Okay, you have to be very, very careful when you're looking at these things. The work experience of a nurse aide, orderlies, patient service associates, the work experience of that person is acceptable. But the job offer cannot be in these knock codes. So you could be an early childhood educator assistant as a work experience, that is acceptable. The job offer cannot be for that position. So big difference here. This is something which you will need to really be careful about. The job offer has to be for, obviously in Canada, it has to be for outside Quebec. It has to be full-time, continuous work for 30 hours, paid work per week, and it has to be permanent employment. There can be no set end date for this program. This job offer must include your hourly wage, employment requirements, and a description of the main duties. Job offer has to be genuine. I mean, that's where the cynic in me sort of comes out, but I would refrain from doing that. So the job offer has to be genuine. It basically means somebody cannot just give you a job offer to take care of a child when they don't even have a child. Or they cannot give you a job offer for a child who is 14, 15, 16 years old. So there has to be a genuine need for you to be hired. So if the person has a young child, a few months old, adolescent, toddler, young child, yes, there is a real need. If the parents themselves are working, they are not at home, they can show that they are working, it's a genuine need. For caregivers, the person is sick, the person has had an accident, the person has had an injury, the person is old, needs companionship, the person is handicapped. All these aspects would be included in terms of home caregiver. Okay, there's a real need to hire you. The employer can fulfill the terms of jobs, including paying you. So again, this is where you have to take into consideration that if you are getting a job offer from a private household, a private family, then that family should have enough household income to be able to pay you. So it's not like if the person is making $50,000 per year and they say, okay, you know what, you're my cousin sister, you're my cousin brother, let me give you this job offer, but my salary is only $50,000, then how are you going to be able to pay this person's salary and also be able to pay for your own expenses? So this application is going to get refused. So you'll have to make sure that you find a job in a household who's able to pay their own expenses. So they have to meet the low income cutoff, LICO amount for that family size, and plus add to that the wages that will be meeting the median wage, not the lower end wage, the median wage for this knock code. You have to check the job bank website. You have to check the wage report, check what is the median wage for that knock code for that location, for which province you are checking. That is the amount that this person, the family or the household, should be able to afford within their income. Extremely important factors. If you're not meeting the requirements, don't go through this program. It might not be for you. All right. The employer must follow all the rules, of course. Your wage must be equal to or higher than the job bank's median wage for the occupation listed in your job offer in the province or territory of employment. Extremely important. Your job must meet the median wage. Median wage is same how the LMIA wages are calculated, right? If you go to the job bank website, you will be able to see a big range. They will have a low and a high and a median. The salary being offered to you must meet the median wage. It's extremely important. If the employer is a business, they must have been providing the same type of care services as the job for at least 1 year. Means It shouldn't have been a business that somebody, one of your friends, has just set up just to give you a job offer. The business should have been in existing and operating for at least 1 year. Okay. And very, very important, the employer must have a CRA business number and be either a private household, as I was telling you, or a business that has direct employer-employee relationship, who is going to be hiring the employee, paying the, managing the working conditions, paying the employee, etc. And the organizations, if you are going to get a job offer from a business, not a private household, then it has to be an organization that hires full-time workers to provide short-term or occasional home care. Now, residential homes are basically not providing short-term care. This is where the patients are coming in living, and you're providing long-term care. So same thing with long-term residential homes. Unfortunately, they may not qualify under this. And this is for short-term and occasional home care for those who are semi-independent or recovering from an injury. Therefore, you have examples: home health care service providers, home care support service providers, direct care agencies, personal care services in residential settings, pediatric home care service providers. Now, some of you are asking, personal care services in residential settings, is that going to be acceptable or not? Now, this is where the gray area comes. IRCC has not clarified whether residential homes or the long-term homes or the old age retirement homes would be considered as personal care services in the residential settings. From the way we understand, this is supposed to be for home care, and long-term cares in the residential homes may not be eligible for this program. Now, who doesn't count as an eligible employer? The employer can't be a recruitment or a placement agency. I think that's very clear. Cannot be an embassy. Could not be an employer found non-compliant, a person who has not been compliant with the labor laws. It could not be yourself. You cannot say, I'm hiring myself to be providing home care services. It can also not be a spouse, common law partner, parent, grandparent, or child. I have seen some instances where a child has said that, can I sponsor my parent who's going to give care for me and for my children? So the grandmother giving care for the grandchildren, and you are now hiring your mother to take care of the children. Unfortunately, that would not be counted. Same thing goes for spouse, common law partners, parents, grandparents, and children. It doesn't say siblings, right? So siblings can be, you may make a job offer to your sibling, you may make a job offer to your cousins, you may make a job offer to your relatives. Now, please, this program has been abused a lot in the past, and that is one thing which you should be aware of. You should stay away from those aspects. Only sponsor or only provide job offer if you really need the services, number one. And of course, if your relative, even if you're hiring or employing your relative, then they are actually eligible and qualified to perform this job. Now, the documentation that you will require, you will require an employer form. The form numbers are being given. For individual employers, it's IMM 0267. For business, it's 0268. Again, everything you will get on this website. It's quite comprehensive. You need to take a bit of time. So let's say, give yourself 2 or 3 hours, go through every single sentence on this website under the criteria, so that you will then be able to absolutely comprehensively understand the complete requirements and then be able to submit your application. Finally, how to apply? How will you be able to make this application? This application will be submitted through the PR portal that IRCC has. The quotas for this is actually better than what we thought. The quotas are for the workers in Canada under the home caregiver immigration pilot. Oh, that's what IP was standing for. Okay, well, that's what it stood for. So under the child care, you have 2,350 applications that they will accept online. 260 are the paper applications for alternate format, where people are in a position where they need some accommodations and they cannot submit an online application. Out of status and unauthorized workers will have a quota of 125 online applications and 15 alternate formats. Similarly, for home support workers, you will also have 2,350 online slots, and 125 unauthorized workers will have a slot. So total of about, how much is this? 280 out of status unauthorized workers have an opportunity to apply. And similarly, roughly, what is that? 2,350, 4,700, actually more than that. Nearly 5,000 people will be able to apply under the home care pilot, under these two separate streams. You need to get ready before the pilot opens. So this pilot is going to open on the 31st of March at 10 a.m. Until they reach the cap, right? Which basically means the minute the quota is done, the minute the number of applications that they can accept has been reached, that quota will be closed, or that stream will be closed, and you will no longer be able to submit. I anticipate that this should close within an hour or maybe two at most. It's going to be fastest fingers first. Whoever is able to submit the application first will be able to get through, otherwise you won't. Uh, they're not accepting the applications yet, so you will not be able to do anything at this point of time. You can click on this green button, apply using the PR portal. You can create your account and just wait. You will not be able to submit anything at all. So keep everything ready, but you will not be able to submit at this point of time. Uh, Make sure you choose the correct category. Once you are in the portal, choose economic, and then you have to choose the right category. If you are workers in Canada stream, choose the childcare. If you are submitting under the childcare, otherwise outside. So you have to choose the correct category. If you don't, again, the applications will get refused. Your forms, get your forms and documents ready. They have given you all the form numbers here. Please download all the forms, keep them ready, keep them all set. The forms that you will fill out on the portal, these are the forms that you will be completing. General application form, IMM 008. You can only prepare these forms. You can prepare these forms before the pilots open. So that's another one. That's another good one. They will not accept the PDF versions, but you can review them to find out what information you need to gather before applying online. So that's pretty good. You'll be able to complete some of these forms. IMM 008, 5669, 5562, 5406. Again, the instructions are there for each of the form which you can complete. PDF forms you will upload without a signature. So these forms do not need a signature. You need there's a document checklist, and then there is a schedule 21 that you will also need to complete. And similarly, there are some forms that need a signature. So please be very careful. The forms from your employers will need their signature and yours as well. So please be careful. Make sure you sign those forms and then upload them into the portal. Other documents are going to be with regards to your job offer, your proof of training, your proof of legal entry into Canada, proof of work authorization, so copies of your work permits, etc. That's what all that you will need. Copies of your education, copies of your transcript, your ECA, your English language results, and your work experience documents. These are the most important. With your work experience, please make sure you provide your pay stubs, bank statements that show salary credit, T4s if that was in Canada. If outside Canada, then the income tax returns. For photograph, you will need one photograph for yourself and each of your family member. And yes, of course, if you have a family, if you have a spouse, you have a common law partner, you have children, all of them can be included in this application, and they will all become permanent resident once they have approved your application. Of course, all the documents have to be in English or French. If they are not, then please get it translated from an authorized translator. Provide the original document scan as well as the translated document. And if the translator is not authorized, make sure to provide an affidavit from the translator as well. Pay your application fee of $1,525. You can pay the fee before the pilots open. My recommendation is please do that. Please pay the fee in advance. Keep the receipt with you, and you'll be able to upload the receipt. This is what happened in TR to PR. This is something to learn from. In TR to PR program, when it opened, the systems got jammed. You couldn't log in. You couldn't submit your fees. The systems completely crashed. So therefore, you have enough time. Prepare all your application. Prepare your documentation. Pay the fees. Keep the fee receipt ready. And when the portal opens, you will be able to upload the copy of the fee receipt. That's basically it. You pay your fees, you pay your biometrics fees. Any other example? I mean, you will need your medicals, you will need your police clearance, but those are all, your medicals are all later. Police clearance, if you have them, it's always better to provide that upfront, or provide a proof that your police clearance is not yet ready and that you've already submitted the application for your PCC. That's pretty much it. If your application is incomplete, we will reject it. So please be very careful. This is like one of those opportunities which you might not get again. So please be very careful with your application. What happens after you apply? After you apply, basically, it's all about waiting. Get your fingerprints and photos taken. You will get your biometrics request, complete that, make that happen, book your medicals. Once you get the medical request, complete your medicals. The application processing will take some time. And how long will it take? Now, they haven't told you how long it will take, but my experience with this particular stream is that this can take significantly long. The previous applications that have been submitted in 2020 and 2021, they are only now seeing a decision coming through, so expect a long duration of time. Further, they says you can stay in Canada while you wait for your application, as long as you maintain your temporary resident status. Please do not go out of status while you are in Canada. Otherwise, of course, you can go back to your home country and you can wait for the whole decision to happen. That's it. That's basically it. That's basically it. Yeah, my throat went dry there. I think I can also show you. Let me see if I can. I can also show you the forms that would be required from your employer. No, I can't show you that. Of course, I should be able to. I can, yeah. There you go. So this is the document checklist. When you get to the document checklist, I mean, again, it's very simple, straightforward. Just follow the document checklist, and as and how you are completing the form, and if the form is completed, this will be completed in the online application. Just click here, right? So this has been done. Then when you do 5669, again, the PDF form is not accepted. Okay, so it will be an online application. Click here once it has been done, because you will have to upload a copy of this document checklist as well. So please make sure you enter all the information correctly here. The next one is 5562. Then you have additional family information 5406, home care pilot 0271. That is what is required. Employment form for 0269 or sorry 0267 or 0268. That is what is required. And if you are using a representative like myself, if you have hired us or if you have hired any other consultant or lawyer, you would need to sign IMM 5476 as well. Then the next one is your documentation, right? Passports, proof of language, proof of education, identity and civil documents, proof of work experience and training, proof of job offer, child's information if you have, if you're if you have a dependent child, your police clearances, proof of residence in Canada and authorization to work in Canada, photographs, and fee payment. This is your entire document checklist. It's 5 pages. Please make sure you include all of that information correctly. Then the next one is your business employer. So basically, if you're getting a job offer from a business, from an institution, then please make sure that they complete the business number here. First of all, the CRA business number, it's very important. And then, of course, fill out the rest of the form. They will have to hand sign the document. And then I think there is also, yeah, this is for the hand signature only of the employer. You don't have to sign it. Similarly, then there is the other form, which is 0267. This is for the individual employer, for the private household. Again, it's a family. Please make sure that your family employer also gets the CRA business number. It's extremely important. You still have almost 9 days, 10 days in your hand. We are on the 21st of March today. With 10 days in hand, you should be able to get the CRA business number. If you haven't got it, then please have your employer encourage them to apply for the CRA business number very, very quickly. And yeah, same thing, complete the rest of the information as required, and then you would be ready to go. That's pretty much it. There you go. That's your home care pilot support, home worker pilot. My God, I'm getting all confused now. So this is the program. You know the name by now. Home care worker. Home care worker pilot. My God, how serious can this be? So home care worker pilot, that is their stream. 5,000 slots, approximately 5,000. I think that's the number. I think you'll have a good shot at it, provided you keep all your documentation ready. As far as we are concerned, we are a full-fledged licensed immigration company, and therefore we are accepting clients. We actually are pretty much close to the quota that we could have accepted. I think we still have few more slots left. So if you're thinking of hiring a representative, consider us. Ask Kubeir Immigration. Hook us up. I mean, give us a shout. You can send us an email, you can drop us a message. This is the email address. Drop us an email here if you want to hire us for your application, or if you want to make an appointment with me just to understand or to handle your application. If you have any questions, you have any concerns, then this is the link. Please book an appointment. I'll be very happy to guide you with what you can and cannot do with this particular application. That's pretty much it. Okay, there are actually a lot of questions. We will take questions tomorrow. Can't really do a lot of questions right now, but let's see, what's this one? I am an ECA, 1.5 years of experience in a private daycare, CLB 8. Am I eligible for this program? Well, if you are an early childhood educator, unfortunately, that work experience is not eligible. If you are early childhood educator assistant, and if you have a job offer from a private employer or from a home care service provider, then you would be eligible. If your job offer is from a daycare, unfortunately, that will not count. The wage should be above median according to the city or provincial level. Well, if you have a median wage for the city and the province, if it's a separate number, the higher number would be taken into account. So for example, if you are in Toronto GTA, so Ontario will have a median wage and Toronto area will have a median wage. Whichever of these two is higher is the number that you have to go with. And that is how you will identify your median wage that will be applying to you. That's basically all that I have. Thank you for joining me. I know there are a lot of questions. Please put your questions in the comment after this video is done, and I will come back during the day and tomorrow as well and answer your questions to as many as I can. Thank you so much. It's been a long day. And of course, please join me for a live stream tomorrow where we will take more questions in detail and also answer them as and how we can. Good night and take care.